news for you. I'm Roy Wood Jr. In the news this week, Republicans lay out their economic plan for the country.
It's good to have some good boots, and you can barter it for a load of fish or my wristwatch.
Democrats get behind a candidate who can finally win.
Looking up at this. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. The dog was on top of its handler. I don't know what it's going on.
Security experts stress the importance of two-factor authentication.
They say if I press this, it's the end of the world.
On Amber's team tonight, he was a Democratic congressman for 20 years representing Ohio's 13th and 17th districts. So tonight, we're finally going to find out why they put chili on spaghetti. It's Tim Ryan. And joining Michael, you know her from jokes Seth can't tell on Late Night with Seth Meyers. Tonight, she'll be saying jokes Michael can't tell. It's Jenny Hagel. Now for the biggest stories of the week. Amber and Tim, watch the clip and tell me what's the story.
Oh, the story is the TV show Bewitched. Oh, wow. There's a new kind of bunch of animals? What do you think the story is?
Democrats were running, so that scared me a little bit.
At least the Democrats are moving at all, Tim. The story is Trump is doing exactly what he wants. And in town halls across the country, Americans are mad about it. So
I mean, I've never seen white people so publicly angry.
Here's GOP Representative Harriet Hagman of Wyoming calling out her haters at a town hall on Wednesday night.
Trump's plans to cut these programs and the people who administer them, coupled with the tariffs, will decimate Wyoming farms and rural communities. What are you doing about that?
I disagree. It's so bizarre to me how obsessed you are with federal government. But here's the thing.
She literally said, "Why are you so obsessed with me?"
When she was walking over there real slow to the podium, maybe I've watched too much Yellowstone, but I thought she was going to grab a fucking shotgun and like shoot.
Hagman isn't the only lawmaker facing public ire at town halls. There's also Nebraska Rep. Mike Flood. During his recent town hall, what did Flood's constituents start chanting when the topic of balancing the budget came up?
Go fuck yourself.
I believe we have a clip that holds the answer.
Okay, let's talk about this. So your proposal to solve this is to tax the rich.
I'm pretty sure Mike Flood just flooded his pants when he was like... Question, does anyone know what Mike Flood had to say about Trump's now infamous Oval Office meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky?
Zelensky needs to apologize for insulting our president by asking for help in the war that he didn't start.
Here's Flood.
I do believe that White House meeting was a disaster. And I believe that President Zelensky should have signed that agreement.
Amber, I have a Nebraska question.
Yeah.
How mad does a white person have to be to give the double thumbs down?
This is the first time I've ever seen such a man.
I'll be honest, I don't even know that I can do that.
Because, like, when white people give you the double thumb, that's like when black people go... Tim, you're a former politician. How do you handle this situation, Tim Ryan?
There's nothing you can do in that situation. You've got to just hold the line and speak your piece. I mean, the problem a guy like that runs into is that he doesn't have the facts or the truth on his side.
In my experience, that is not a problem for Republicans.
Well, yeah. There are some who are better at it than others, and Flood is in the minor leagues. Okay.
It does have to be said that Mike Flood is such a sad-sounding name. Like, it just sounds like Mike Flood.
Here's a question from a town hall with North Carolina Representative Chuck Edwards.
Do you support the annexation of Canada and/or Greenland? And this is a yes or no question. I don't want you to wander off into the woods.
You know, all he did was just use what his wife used on him. It's a yes or no question, and don't go wandering off into the woods, Randy. That was one of the calmest questions of the night, because then there was this guy.
You're lying. I'm a veteran and you don't give a fuck about me. Shut the fuck up.
He already punched something.
You got the cast.
He had a whole cast on. You better shut up.
That's from a town hall he went to the night before.
The Republicans' new strategy is just don't show up.
Yes.
Susan Collins recently blew off a town hall in Maine. Bigger question, does anyone know how long it's been since Susan Collins held a town hall with her constituents?
Okay, well, let's see. She's 274 years old.
She about 2 Mitch McConnells.
She is. She is.
Susan Collins hasn't held a town hall with Mainers in over 25 years. Also, I did not know that that's what you call people from Maine.
When they move back, they're remainers.
My man. My man. That's great. That did not get what it deserved.
Thank
That
you,
did not
Jenny.
get the applause it deserved.
Tim,
Fuck all of you.
Tim, it's...
That's how you handle a town hall, right?
Tim, is 25 years a reasonable amount of time between town halls?
Well, I mean, you want to keep them wanting more, you know what I mean?
Voters at town halls aren't thrilled. Here's CNN's own Harry Ensign with the latest.
He's at -2 points, and it's not just in one poll, it's multiple. CNN, Fox, Ipsos, NBC, and Quinnipiac University, 999, the American folks are saying, oy vey, ay caramba.
Okay, wow, that was a lot of different languages. Thank you. Yiddish and all.
Does anyone know of something that's even less popular than Trump right now?
I hate to say it, but probably the Democrats.
How much do they hate the Democrats? Here's our boy Harry again.
The majority of Americans hold an unfavorable or negative view of the Democratic Party at this point. All I can say is I'm a big fan of the oldies, so I'm going to quote Chubby Checker, how low can you go?
Nice, well done.
I fucking love this guy. I love it.
Republicans aren't the only ones getting yelled at this week. People are just as mad, if not more so, at Democrats down in Maryland. Congressman Glenn Ivey heard from his voters.
We want you to show some of the backbone and strategic brilliance that Mitch McConnell would have in the minority.
You know you're in trouble when somebody say, why can't you be more like Mitch McConnell?
I honestly feel the same way. Our main problem is we're not willing to do dirt.
Yes. Yes. I think it's not the time for decorum. It's the time for, like, they go low, we go lower.
Also, they're so dumb. We gotta be able to outmaneuver them. How are we not outmaneuvering them? Just do a little dirt.
It does feel like we are in a bizarro world where the coyote keeps beating the roadrunner. It's like, well, this possibly can't work. They put the dynamite in their mouth, and you're like, how did it work?
Glenn Ivey's voters also did not stop there. So, go back to the last frame of that. I like how they let the black woman security guard touch her first. The other dude was like, hey.
And that woman turned to her like,
Michael and Jenny, watch the clip, and you tell me what's the story.
All right.
We got a plane taken off.
Okay, and then a judge is like, this is...
I'm mad at you, declaration,
Oh,
I'm
then
gonna burn
Nicolas
you.
Cage burns
And then the dick dance. They were throwing people on an airplane, sending them over to El Salvador, Donald Trump doing a dick dance about it, end of story.
Points, points, points. It's indeed. The story is Trump and the judiciary have been fighting all week over who's really in charge, which cable news analysts took totally in stride.
We are not yet at a constitutional crisis.
A lot of folks are saying this is a constitutional crisis. Be wary of being the boy who cried wolf.
I'm going to cry wolf. We are in a constitutional
black
crisis.
and white.
When someone from The View.
Right, somebody who's sitting on a couch with Joy Behar all day is suddenly like, this shit is crazy.
I would just say the upside is there's some hope that the institutions will hold, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it because this is an absolute stress test for the democracy, like unlike one we probably haven't seen since the Civil War.
They said, oh, you got to turn these planes around that are flying to El Salvador. And Trump was like, what? I can't hear you. We're breaking up. What's that?
Okay.
Yeah. So that feels like a constitutional crisis to me when the Trump administration is just ignoring court orders.
He has no concept of the president shouldn't do this. That doesn't even cross his mind. It's Donald Trump-id that is functioning out of the Oval Office. And that's what scares the shit out of people.
Yes, last weekend, Trump invoked an obscure 18th century wartime law called the Alien Enemies Act to deport hundreds of Venezuelans to El Salvador without due process. While Trump was deporting the Venezuelans, federal judge James Boasberg ruled the deportations were possibly illegal and, quote, explicitly told the government to turn around any aircraft that had already departed the country if it was still in the air. Now, that part I'm kind of with Trump on. These planes today, if you get them in the air and it's going one way, just let it go.
I love what that reveals about Roy's understanding of planes.
Yeah. You tell the plane, this is where we're going, this is how we get there, and the plane be like, cool.
Yeah. It's like when you push chicken on a microwave. You already pushed Cleveland, just leave it alone.
You can't put beef in a microwave after you hit the chicken?
No.
You do that?
No. Absolutely not.
Now, to clear up some of the confusion, Judge Boasberg asked the White House for detailed flight logs and more information about the people on the planes. Question, why would the judge want more information about the Venezuelans who were being deported to El Salvador?
To make sure that they had, that they actually had a trial, that it wasn't just done on like vibes.
Instead of giving a federal judge the information he requested, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, quote, this radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker, an agitator who's sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama should be impeached. And then House Republicans did this.
Texas Congressman Brandon Gill today introducing articles of impeachment against Judge James Boasberg.
Yeah, don't be scared, Judge. That first impeachment's the hard one, but you... Sources say the Trump administration is considering invoking state secrets privilege to avoid giving information about Venezuelan deportees. Who on the plane? Shh. Now, even though impeaching a federal judge who disagrees with the president may trigger a different constitutional crisis, here's how Team Trump is defending the move.
We have judges who are acting as partisan activists.
And this has been a pattern with these liberal judges. They're meddling in our government.
What is it about Judge Boasberg's history that would suggest that he is a partisan leftist radical?
He went to a Dave Matthews concert.
Judge Boasberg's leftist credentials include ordering the release of Hillary's emails, ruling against the release of Trump's tax returns, and most damning of all, he was once law school roommates with Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Oh,
he's one of them.
That's a leftist. But we do have tape on Kavanaugh speaking about Boasberg. Here's Judge Kavanaugh describing his time living with Judge Boasberg.
I liked beer.
Can I at least point out, Boasberg was not appointed by Obama. He was originally appointed by George W. Bush.
Yes, he was.
He was elevated by Obama.
Yeah, it's like a double appointee situation.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So far, the courts have blocked executive orders to freeze foreign aid, ban transgender people from the military, and 2 judges have blocked DOJ's mass firings of probationary federal workers. Earlier this week, the Department of Justice argued, quote, Trump could fire all agency heads who are women or over 40. Here's the head of the DOJ Attorney General Pam Bondi, seen here being a woman over 40. You are in danger, girl. They're trying to get you, Pam.
Also, you didn't have to tell us Pam Bondi was 40. There's no Pam under 45 years old. If she wants to keep her job, she has to change her name to, like, Michaela.
What is Elon Musk doing to make this whole constitutional crisis more efficient?
Ketamine.
Here's CNN Caitlin Collins on what Elon has been up to.
The New York Times is reporting tonight that Elon Musk is now donating the maximum that is allowed by law to the campaigns of all of these Republican members that you see here on screen of Congress who have expressed support for judicial impeachments.
When do we riot? When do we?
I know what, well, here's what I've been doing. I've been going around to random Tesla dealers and just lighting cars on fire.
Say that.
I just realized there's a good chance I'll get arrested for saying that I was lighting cars on fire at Tesla dealership.
Welcome.
I didn't do that. And I wouldn't do that.
We come back to the next segment, and there's an empty chair right there.
We'll be right back.